Hi, Sue Rose Minahan, Talk Cosmos host, and this is NowChat, a 10-minute commentary astrologically. And Lady Gaga, the great singer that really is so renowned, sang with Tony Bennett, sings just about everything, and happens to be in Italy filming, has 3 dogs, French Bulldogs. They're little tiny miniature dogs. And they're very expensive. And uh, while being walked on in the evening on the 25th, on the 24th, actually, someone shot the dog walker, seriously shot the dog walker, once in the neck and 3 times in the back or twice in the back, the different accounts, and took 2 of the dogs. The third one ran away, Miss Asia, and was the dog walker, who loves these dogs, was cradling the dog, and a friend, people knew him in the area, came and had to pry the dog away that was covered with blood and shaking miserably. And as other people said, please return the dogs. The dogs are just so heartbroken. Well, this man will recover, thankfully. That's really an urgent message in this situation, a life. And then, of course, it goes back to Gaga, Lady Gaga, and the dogs and the situation. What is happening? What does this mean potentially? And dogs really have such a history with people. In fact, the most dogs are in the United States. I think it was 75 million dogs here in the United States compared to 15, 10, 7 in all these other countries, which I might list later. It was quite interesting. Although 20 countries are so dog friendly, and it didn't even mention the United States, but maybe that was the idea, that people can take their 75 million dogs to these other countries that were just remarkable. They more than really the United States. In France, you can bring your dog to the table, and that's not the only country. There's unbelievable countries that really feel that the companionship and the protection and loyalty that we know dogs hold esteemed historically as the first domesticated dog animal is just so significant. Let's look at a chart. So looking at this chart here, this is Lady Gaga, and she was born at 9:53 a.m. in New York City. March 28th, she's in Aries, 1986. And the event was Wednesday, the 24th at 9:40 in the evening in Hollywood. So what you see here immediately, this would be representing to Lady Gaga on this particular date are some connections immediately with her son and Chiron, the wounded healer, the alchemist, the shaman of great wounds that you cannot heal yourself. It's a death signature, in a sense, of a real painful experience, a wound, not necessarily death. That's in a death chart, but here a wound that is so significant, and it's really touching her, that some part of her identity that is so attached. And dogs have, since ancient times, and let me talk first about this man Fisher. He is the individual that is in the hospital, and the 2 dogs' names are Koji and Gustav. So if anybody ever knew about it, they should write Koji and Gustav. And Lady Gaga is putting up $500,000 as a reward with no questions asked, which I could understand. Perhaps that's, of course, she wants the dogs back, and I suppose that's not going to help or hurt her long dog walker that is a very wonderful person from all accounts, and broken and shaken, from this. Lady Gaga also publicized a great deal about these dogs, and they're very expensive. Thousands, a lot of money, quite coveted, and there have been other incidences in Los Angeles. So whether or not there's a dog napper loose, and surely with the devastating times now, people are driven to extremes. And so there's so many details involved that uh, involve this as a scenario. So as far as dog symbolism, it's a powerful symbolism of unconditional love. Now, Lady Gaga has achieved unbelievable heights. She's on television with many illustrious, uh, her voice is fantastic. She has a huge range and great capacity. And a real individual of all sorts. You can see that here. She has a close association with her Uranus and Mars and Neptune. And in fact, they are square, you could say, that sun of hers. So there's a real tension involved with that ruler, Mars, with her identity. But really, identity has to do in so many capacities. It's so close, that sun beaming at the top of her chart. But here, Chiron is a wound that you can't heal by yourself. So in what capacities, and it also shows here, her natal wound is, it's the North Node is coming closer to Chiron. It will, it retrogrades naturally. So it will hit that one of hers, of her diversity. Also, you could say the South Node here is opposite it. So it's releasing something in the 6th house of pets and of servants. This man was a servant, and the limitations. Here she's in a foreign country, and the hardship of Uranus with what she's very closely aligned with, which in this case is her pets, of a philosophy. And there's also, let's see, there's some other charts that we can look at. Well, the dog, they've been with humans for thousands of years. They're allies, protectors. They represent loyalty, nobility, service. 6th house against trustworthiness. So the dog, one has a pet in order to get that love, that constant sense. And the French poodle, not French poodle, but the French bulldog, which is a small dog, rather adorable, really, needs a great deal of affection. They're one of the best dispositions that it's known to be very popular. Playful, alert, adaptable, irresistible is the advertisement, but really they need all that attention. So here she is away. Of course, there is this other individual giving them great attention, I'm sure well paid. And they make 100 different sounds, so they must communicate a great deal. You see that Chiron here that she has natally. Maybe there's some sense of communication that the dog really supports for her. But it is saying that a dog needs to be around the owner a great deal. So I imagine they miss her, but they're very dedicated to this dog sitter also. And they may get separation anxiety, actually. It is a unique personality. Recommended that you learn more about it before you get it, that they can actually that they need a lot of attention, and they can get very cold or very hot. So they're sensitive little animals and that. But did you know also that as wonderful as these purebreds are, that the regular mutt, 80% of them are in the dog shelters. And who knows if perhaps, ever since Egypt, we've been, well, for 14,000 years since wolves, we've fed dogs, and because they got the excess of the kill, from prey. They helped get the prey and they'd eat. So maybe they were domesticated after that, they thought. And then in Egypt, they were raised for speed again, for prey. But in Greece, they were very much a companion dog that helped heal people in the temples and that. So they have this long companionship. And it isn't until really the 17th, 18th century when nature again began to be friendly. I mean, people felt safe about it, that the high breeding occurred. Although in Britain, ever since Rome, it's been a center of breeding dogs. And it also has this distinction of class system, again, sixth house, and that it seems that nobility would have pets around the 18th century, but yet the servants and the working class, they needed to be attending to their duties socially and couldn't afford, it was thought, to have pets. Well, fortunately now pets are huge companionship. And some of those countries where Argentina has 9.2 million, Brazil has 35 million, but the countries are France, Switzerland, Italy, Netherlands, Austria, Switzerland, Japan, Bahamas, Luxembourg, Slovenia, Rio, Belgium, Norway, and Croatia that love pets. Well, I know I'm going over, and I have been lately. There's so much to involve, but I am going to also show you here. I hope you see this. I'm going to share it again because sometimes it doesn't go through. Okay. And this is on the new moon, a full moon coming up. And this, you can see the limitations of Gaga's travels that must mean to her, and the pain that it has with her partnership, of being abroad, and the difficulty of the animals. And, really had been brought to the attention that there's Pluto is directly opposing her Saturn that's going to be hit against again and again. You wonder if maybe she'll come with some new values. Maybe she will start showing that I've lost my dogs if she doesn't get them back. And let's raise mutts. I don't know. That would help so many in the shelter and maybe help people afford dogs more. And although all dogs have their purpose, of course. And there was one other I wanted to show you, that here in Italy, I think this is her in Italy, is it? Yes, in Rome, what it shows too. And if I swap this, what does it show? There's different things at times. Well, this is Gaga's. So let's see what it shows in Italy. In Italy, too, it shows this 8th house, where this is where you exchange with other people, and the values, and again, the harm and the hurt that it does. And the pain of her conjunction of this in the other house. Well, blessings to all people that love their animals. It's really so hard. And blessings to all of you. Please subscribe, helps me. And we'll get to that moment where we can share more. Thanks so much. And I'll see you on the full moon tomorrow. And then a wonderful edition on Saturday. Thanks.